Thank you so much for having me.
You're very easy to talk to. You know, you're a strong man of your faith, and that's what makes it so easy. We connected like that in the beginning.
What is up? What is up? What is up, everyone? It is another day, another time, and another week for yours and my favorite Monday night show. And I'm not talking about Monday Night Football. I'm talking about your favorite show, my favorite show, We'll Talk Monday. You all. We are here. We are back. And you all, this season has been one amazing season. God has showed up. God has sold out. And God has done some amazing things this season. And I'm excited about what he is doing with this podcast and where he's taking it. And I'm just allowing him to have his way. Tonight, we have a legend in the building. And you will see why I say a legend as I give his story. I'm talking about Mr. Dewayne Morton. He is a powerful, inspirational speaker whose life story is a testament to the indomitable human spirit. As a former international basketball player, Dewayne understands the crucial role of mental performance in achieving greatness both on and off the court. However, Dewayne's true journey began when he faced an unmanageable challenge for 18 years. He battled a misdiagnosed rare blood cancer, showing his unwavering resilience in the face of adversity. So, you all, we are definitely going to hear more about this story here very shortly. But right now, what I want y'all to do is put your hands together, like, share, tag, and tell somebody and tell everybody that we up in here. And let's welcome Mr. Dewayne Morton. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, bro. So first of all, I just want to say thank you to the listeners. It just let them know that, like, I say this with the utmost gratitude. Time is such a precious commodity, and the fact that they are giving that to me for me to be able to share my story, it blows me away every time. Rev James, man, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to come on your platform and be able to tell some of these stories, and so I could teach some of the lessons that I learned through these experiences.
Yeah, definitely, man. We've been working on this for a while to get you on this podcast, but we thank God that he allowed it to happen when he did, and his timing is better than ours. So we definitely appreciate you and appreciate you for coming on and giving us a little bit of your time. So what we're going to do is we're going to start it off like this. When I say I survived it, what is the first thing that you think of?
Man, I survived the turmoil. It would be the first thing that I would say is I survived the turmoil, but it brought me closer to my spiritual self. It also brought me closer to my own self too. Like, there's people that I used to run around with that I don't run around with anymore. Like, people come into your life for seasons, and some people come in there for a lifetime, but truly we don't know. We think that whenever we run into people, here's something that like I've learned, and it's really just been kind of shown more and more over this month. This month has been kind of a crazy month for me, but truly we don't have that many friends. We have more acquaintances. It's us ourselves that gives them that power when we talk about friends and friendship. And so I think that's extremely important, to just to know our power and to know that like we want to be loved so much that we're willing to give that type of power to people. And so, but yeah, I would say the turmoil would be it. But like for me, man, is like I've always been a strong Christian brother, man. Like I was saved at 17. I went on a mission trip at 19 to play and I played basketball. And so that's the thing is, it's like there's these things that just happen, and you know that God brought it to you. I'll go ahead and tell you the basketball part. I was good, but I wasn't going to the NBA. I wasn't going to like a big D1 school or anything like that. And so that's the thing, man, is like I didn't play my last 2 years of high school. And somehow God found a way as he always does, right? If he wants you there, he'll get you there. And so that was the thing. And like it's just a testimony of like when we truly give ourselves to him, there's a way that he just parts the sea, man. And we find that. And so for me is I always going through the situations I went through, the situations I never was suicidal. And I want to stress that the things that like I had to go through, I was never suicidal. I just knew God would get me through it. And if it was my time, it was my time. And so I feel like that's super important to really share. I don't do this on most podcasts because I'm really trying to go more wide and then try to narrow down. But what I'm doing, sir, is like I'm making sure that when I tell my story, that there's a question mark that they're asking what Dewayne has that they might be lacking. And so, and that is just, you know, that is Jesus. And so that's the thing is like, that's the secret that I haven't been telling as much on podcasts because I want to go wide to bring these people in. I want to use the Holy Spirit to go in. So yeah.
Man, that's powerful right there. You just said so much right there where you said you want to make sure that you let the people in. You want to give them a reason to get to know this Jesus that you are serving, to get to have this relationship with this master that you know, so that they can have this right relationship with them just as you have, which is important.
Absolutely important. Yeah.
So right now, what I want you to do is I want you to give the people a little bit of your survival story of something that happened to you so that they can kind of relate to you.
Yeah. So really my survivor story, there's two of them that I'll share. So at the age of 29, I was diagnosed with a rare blood cancer. They originally gave me 5 years, and then later on it went to 15. And so there was constant struggle. But the thing is the things that Dewayne enjoyed, the basketball, the running, the hanging out with my friends and that type of stuff, I wasn't able to do. And so God made me have to, I feel like go into a cave and be a hermit and figure stuff out, figure out what I was about, what I wanted to be. But also, man, for me, I felt like he allowed me to accomplish my dream by playing basketball past high school. So I was always more content than what I wanted to be, really. And then 3 years ago, in May, it'll be 3 years ago, I was involved in a police shooting as a bystander. I was driving by in my very small town in Kentucky, and a stray bullet hit the truck. And so I can go more into specifics. There was a police officer who was murdered that day. A criminal had a hidden gun. And so they had the shootout. I was driving by, a stray bullet hit the truck. So if the bullet would have been an eighth of an inch to the left, it kills me. If the bullet would have been an eighth of an inch to the right, I had my 3-year-old niece in the back seat, and so it could have been really bad. And so I was dealing with PTSD and survivor's guilt, and I also was dealing with. Hold on a second. Whenever I was diagnosed in 2006, I was only given 15 years. So like my 15 years is up. Why did God give me this miracle? And so it wasn't until in March 8th of last year, I actually found out that my blood cancer was misdiagnosed. So I was healthy. All I had was severe sleep apnea. So something that could have been fixed in a short amount of time in 2006, they didn't catch it. And so here's the thing, Rev, is what gets a lot of people's attention toward me is the fact that like I don't have ill will against the doctors. There was the seventh doctor is the one that set me free. 7 doctors. The 7th one set me free. So 6 doctors missed it. So I don't have this like I'm upset. I believe in grace, so I'm giving grace to them. Same thing with the shooting. The guy who shot the gun that I have no ill will towards. And so it's like I said, if I want grace, I have to give grace. And that's not an easy task because there's like I was that close to like not having life. And so or possible my niece. And so that's the other thing is like I feel that like I was telling you is that I feel that most people there's something about me that's different that allows me to be able to say this is my path. And so when they look at my path, they realize that like what is this? What's different with this guy? And so it allows them to like do their work and allows the Holy Spirit to work on themselves.
So in other words, what you're saying is God is using you to be a light so that others can see him in you and not you yourself.
Absolutely. And honestly, anytime we become a Christian, that's our job is to be obedient and to do things like that, to shed light. I mean, so in a life full of darkness, we're the flashlights that illuminate those areas. True. I'll say that again. In this life of darkness, we are the flashlights that illuminate. And that's the attraction piece. And so that's the reason why you're seeing people be as spiritual as they are right now. Is there's people that are like me and you that are way more bolder than what I was when I was 17. And so I think that's the important thing is just allow God to use us in the way that he needs to use us. And so I'll tell you right now, man, is like when I was younger, people used to tell me I was a speaker. And I was like, no, man, I'm not a speaker. Like I actually, a little bit over a year ago, I actually was told I was a speaker again. I was like, I'm not a speaker, man. And look what I'm doing. It's amazing what God can do in that full circle moment.
Funny how that's the same thing with my platform that I have right now. When I first started it, this platform was in a whole different direction. We was doing more hot topic discussions, like a lot of other discussions, like a lot of other podcasts are doing. And I always had a co-host. Always. Well, as time went on, I started losing my co-hosts left and right. But every time I would lose one, I would just get another one. Well, then it got to the point to where I couldn't get another one. It's like no matter who I asked, they wasn't willing to do it. So October of last year, God brought me to the realization to do a series entitled I Survived It. It was Suicide Awareness Month. It was Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I'm like, okay, perfect. Let's run with it. It'll probably just last for a couple of weeks, but let's run with it. That series lasted from October till December. So December of last year, I thought I was done. Then I started doing other interviews. But everybody I would interview would have some kind of a survival story attached to their interview. And I'm thinking it was God's way of telling me I needed to create some merch with the I Survived It brand attached to it. And God's like, yeah, that too. But what I'm telling you is this, I Survived It, is the direction that this broadcast is going in now. It's not about the hot topics and all that. This is the lane that I want you in. And I noticed also the audience that I had. When I would do topics like this, the I Survived It, I noticed that my audience was more engaged. They was paying attention. So I'm like, okay, there's a need for this. Okay, Lord, have your way.
Yep, man. So that's the thing is like it's I use this analogy a lot when I mentor young athletes. But when we're out of alignment, like it's like a car, like we can't go straight. Our direction is either to the left or to the right. We're not able to stay that direction. So it's the same thing I tell them is like when things keep going array over and over and over, that allows you that's the message of, hey, we're out of alignment. We need to change some things up. We need to go back to either what was working or, you know, something that in this is not right. And so, you know, like if I have my tires are out of a line, I go take them to the shop and they get it fixed. Same thing, man. It's like we know where we have to go to get that fixed when we're out of alignment, and that's through prayer, meditation. You know, so I do both. I pray and meditate. So some people, you know, I'm also one of those type people. I do a lot of stuff that the ancient people do, and so I just believe in sitting still sometimes, just going outside. And I mean, as you know, I'm a Kentucky brother, so like I just go outside and look at the trees, and so that's the thing is like, and that was one thing that was really important for me was you were the first person from Kentucky that like, you know, I met through the internet and like wanted to like do something with a podcast, and so I was just all for it. And so just to let you know, that was like one of the things is that I could come on and support, you know, someone from Kentucky and someone that I felt like was doing the right type of thing. And so I appreciate it so much. But, you know, I don't want to get off track, but we are different because of where we live. We're extremely fortunate growing up in where we do because we have different set of morals and standards that a lot of other people are not don't have. And so just to give you an idea, so I want to share this one story with you and the listeners because it's really where I got my foundation of gratitude. And so when I played overseas on this mission trip, the community would feed us before we play basketball for them. And so I'll be honest, man, I'm a picky eater, man. So I'm a fried chicken, like biscuits and gravy type, Southern cooking type person right here. So the food was definitely not that. And so I'm a picky eater. And so that one day, I just decided, hey, I'm not going to eat it. I was like, it honestly looked like pig slop. I'm sorry. That's just what it looked like. I was like, hey, I'm not eating this right now. And so sometimes God does things and it just humbles you. Like, and so this is a very humbling story. Through my interpreter, a 5-year-old boy came walking up and asked for the food that I pushed and it was like, hey, I don't want that. Right. Little boy grabbed the plate and just started shoveling the food in as fast as he could in his mouth. We got him to slow down because we were afraid he would choke. We started having a conversation and found out this little boy had not eaten in 3 days and had eaten rocks because his belly hurts. And so here where I live, I've never had to go without food, water, or shelter. And I know there's people now that do in this area, but it's still very rare. And so I just want to let people understand is like that broke my heart but it allowed God to show me something that I would not have picked up where I live. And so that's one of the biggest things that I got from that trip was that, hey, other people have it worse. Our nightmares are other people's dreams. And so when we take that and you live by it, the blood cancer diagnosis is not as bad. The shooting, I mean, that was probably the worst that I had just because of the fact that like I couldn't sleep, I couldn't rest. And so that was the thing, man, is like I knew, hey, if I get through this, there's something there to really work on. And so one of the things too I wanted to share is this is the type of speaker that I'm at, bro. I did a sermon at my local church, and we went to Texas. I believe it was the next week or 2 weeks. And I'm a big fan of Dr. Tony Evans. Dr. Tony Evans preached the same sermon that I shared. Same thing, same platform, pretty much the same thing word for word. My parents were blown away. They could not believe it. They had just heard that sermon like 2 weeks ago. So when I got a chance to talk to Dr. Tony Evans, I was like, hey, I just preached a sermon. He was like, well, he's like, how did I do? And I was like, you did amazing. But I was like, what if I did the same thing, the same type of things that you were talking about? And he was like, sir, he's like, oh, I'm sorry. He said, son, he's like, I just let you know that you're going to be talking a lot. And so here's the thing, man, is like, even after Dr. Tony Evans said that to me, I still did not see myself as a speaker, dude. I just didn't. I don't know. And that's the thing is like, sometimes we are our own worst enemy. And so go ahead.
That's true. Sometimes we are our own worst enemy because we can't get out of our own way. We see things one way and that's it. And God is like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but I got this other way over here for you. My thoughts are not your thoughts. My plans are not your plans. My ways are not your ways. I'm ready to do exceedingly abundantly more than you can ask or think. All I need you to do is obey me.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, we're created in his image. I mean, so that should just tell us how much that we are so much in our head that we don't realize how abundant we're supposed to live. There's so many things like when I think about what we're allowed to have and we just don't think we deserve it. It's amazing to me.
facts. So, man, we thank you for coming on, bro. We definitely appreciate you. So, what we're gonna do right now is what is called the real talk moment, which is what that is we are going to let you give a little bit of a word of encouragement to our listeners, but also let our listeners know where they can find you at.
Yeah, so what I'm going to share with the listeners is actually what I feel like got me through uh, just the whole situation with the misdiagnosis. So it's my morning routine. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he has so much stuff, but this is mine. So, but it's called Dwayne's Daily Plan of Attack. So there's these 4 things that I talk about. My very first thing that I do when I wake up is I thank God for giving me that day. There's just so many people that do not get that privilege. And so my very first step of that day is gratitude. And so however you do, like when you live in your life in the form of gratitude, it's just such an amazing place. It's such a humbling place too. But sometimes we're usually givers. We usually give, and we don't receive. But God really wants us to give and receive. It's a circle. The other step is the second step is self-care. And so every day when I'm in bed, I stretch because I've played a lot of basketball. I have to stretch my neck. I have to stretch my back, just things like that. And so the number 2 thing is going to be self-care. So some people can pick up the word and do it there. It's just very important to do some type of self-care early in the morning. So my number 3 step is just have a runner's mentality approach to everything. And so to me, that next step is going to be movement. we don't want to sit there and think about the past all the time, because if we think about the past and we're always looking back, we're not going to be able to go anywhere. We're also going to lose our direction. And also it's going to be really slow. Also, the other thing is I cannot focus on my future so much and focus on my destination, because if I do, I want to get I'll get off direction. The other part is they tell you all the time, the present is really the gift. So I just really focus on this like 15 minutes when I run, or 15 feet when I run. And so that's the presence to me. So my fourth step is just adaptability. And so when you run in that runner's mentality approach, the whole thing is I'm going to back up because the movement part's extremely important. So I just think about left foot, right foot. So I go through the day, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, right? But the fourth step is going to be adaptability. So here's the thing. Life is going to happen. Things are going to happen. You're going to get that unexpected bill. You're going to get, you're going to possibly lose a job. You're probably going to lose a loved one and all these type of things. And so us as Christians, we have something different that a lot of other people have. We have God to lean on. It's extremely important. But we don't have to hit these potholes that I'm talking about as we run, these obstacles. We can swerve either left or right and either miss the pothole completely, or just, not take a direct hit, because life is going to throw us punches. It's really how we roll with the punch. And as it's a boxer's type of mentality. Like when they get hit, they're rolling, they're backing up. So it takes the impact off. So I just want to share that with everybody. And so you can actually download this morning routine on free.showuptowin.com. And that, is yours. But I truly believe that's one of the main things that like help me stay afloat through all these times of turmoil. And so the other thing is DewayneMorton.com is my website for speaking and some all the different things that I'm doing. And then I have so Show Up to Win is about coming. So one of the things that I always talk about is like I don't just show up to things. I show up to win. And to me, that's just an intention. Like I show up with an intention, just like tonight when I'm showing up to this podcast, I'm showing up with the intention of getting my message out, but also like I tell people all the time, if I speak in front of 1,000 people and 999 people boo me, but if I change that one person's life, everything is worth it. And so same thing is like, so that's just the show up to win mentality, man. And so I appreciate you so much for giving me this platform. And, you can catch me on Facebook. That's usually where most people, and then I have IG. I really haven't really done a lot with my socials yet. It's actually like last year, 2024 has been a year of healing. I've been more worried about healing than just like building my socials, but that's coming very soon. And then, I'll be launching my podcast probably in the next couple of weeks.
That is what's up. We are extremely proud of you. You definitely coming back on. I promise you that. Definitely promise you that. And as I always say, you all, as we close out, sometimes our disappointments are nothing more than God's appointments, meaning some things that we look at as bad, God has only turned it around for our good. Stay blessed, be blessed, and be a blessing to someone else. And I will see you all next week. Peace.